Hello everybody, thank you for watching. So today we're doing a video that I'm kind of excited for. I hope that it goes well. I'm going to be talking about, as the title says, fictional couples that I love and hate. I know love and hate are strong words, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to be listing 6 of each category. Don't ask why that number, I really couldn't tell you. Well, I guess I can. I was trying to think of 5 and couldn't narrow it down. But yes, so my rules were, these aren't exactly my 6 favorite and 6 least favorite because I was limiting it to 1 from each thing. When I say thing, I mean like book series, movie, TV show, whatever it is. So it's not exactly my 6 overall favorite and least favorite because I have multiple from the same story otherwise, but instead I limited it to 1 of each for each list, so I could have a favorite and least favorite from the same thing, and I do in a couple of cases. But yeah, so I'm going to be alternating. I'm going to be starting with the least favorites, just because that way I can end on a happy note, talking about a couple that I like. I don't want to end the video on a sad note. So yeah, this is probably going to get kind of controversial, because some of these couples are kind of iconic, I guess. But, you know, these are my opinions. Obviously, you are free to disagree with them, and if you want to disagree with them, you know, leave a comment down below. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. So yeah, let's get into it. So, the first couple that I don't like is actually from my favorite television show, Doctor Who, but this couple is the Doctor and Rose Tyler. So, I love Doctor Who, as I just said, it's my favorite show, but the one thing that I really don't like when the show does is when they have the Doctor and a companion in a relationship. It's always been kind of weird to me. Like, it's not a romance show, and while I love, like, a lot of the side romances, which we'll get to later, I just don't want, like, that central relationship. Like, I don't feel like it needs to be a romance, and it's always kind of weird to me when they try to do it. And, like, with Martha, it was bad, and I didn't like it, and I didn't like when they did it with Amy, but with Rose, it felt like the worst one because the Doctor actually reciprocated those feelings, and it was like a whole thing, and I just didn't like it, and I didn't feel like it was necessary. And also, the age gap is really weird because the Doctor is a 900-year-old alien, and Rose is 19 years old. And yeah, she's like 20 by the time, like, it actually, like, starts to happen in season 2, but it's still weird, and, like, nothing ever actually comes of the relationship, obviously, which is good, because I wouldn't have liked it if anything had ever actually come of it, but even the fact that they have these romantic feelings for each other, I was like, I don't like that. I don't really like the Doctor with humans at all. I think because the Doctor is an immortal alien, it's just weird for him to be with humans. My favorite Doctor relationship, really the only one I really like, is the Doctor and River song. I really like that because River is also part immortal alien, so it, like, isn't as weird, although there's some weird stuff, but not, like, weird in the same way. So yeah, not a big fan of the Doctor and Rose, and her ending up with a copy of him, that was just really weird to me, so yeah. Oh, before I get into the next couple, I just want to add, this is, like, canon couples only. Like, I didn't say nothing ever came with the Doctor and Rose, but it was, like, canonical that they, like, had these feelings, so I'm only talking about canon couples, not getting into, like, fandom ships or whatever, because that's a whole nother story, yeah. So anyway, the first couple that I like, to go on a positive note, is Molly and Arthur Weasley from Harry Potter. Yeah, obviously, there's the movie version, but it's the book version that I'm talking about here, although I feel like it's not that different. The movies did a pretty good job of covering it, they just, like, left a lot out. Yeah, there's a lot of Harry Potter couples that I like. A lot of them were, like, really important to me as a kid, like Ron and Hermione and Harry and Ginny and all of that, but Molly and Arthur is my favorite Harry Potter couple because I just love how they're, like, they've been in love for all this time. They had such a stable marriage, and, like, they're just so good together. Like, they understand each other, like, and they're just so sweet, and, like, we can see moments when they're not dealing with, like, all of their kids, when they're just, like, together, and they're always really sweet with each other, but also, like, all of their kids, they've raised all these kids together, they've built this family together, and it's really great, and they raised 7 amazing kids, and yeah, I just really love them as a couple, and they're just so perfect together, really. I think there's not going to be as much to say about the couples that I like, just because it's harder to explain why you like something, to explain reasons why you don't. But yeah, I just really love them as a couple. Alright, second couple that I dislike is Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. So probably my main issue with this relationship, and the one that I'm kind of surprised doesn't bother more people, is that, biologically, she is his aunt. Literally, like, his father, sister, like, they're biologically related. Which is, weird to me. I know this is like a fantasy world, and that sort of thing happens, and Ned Stark's mother was married to her first cousin or whatever, but it's still weird as a viewer to see it, especially given that they first get together while Bran is revealing that they are aunt and nephew. Not that we didn't all already know, but still, the fact that they officially confirm it while they are getting together is weird. So there's that, but also just, as a couple, I never really, got them working together, just because they're the main characters on the show at the time does not actually make them a good couple, and she's very, power-hungry, desires power, and he's very much not that. There was really nothing about their personalities that felt like it meshed together for me. It was honestly just pretty weird to me, so, yeah, never really shipped that. But moving on, the second couple that I do like is Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson series and also Heroes of Olympus. God, these two, my childhood, honestly. I love them so much. They're just such a sweet couple. Everything they do for each other, when one of them goes missing, the other, goes looking for them. Annabeth just instinctively knowing Percy is in danger and taking the knife for him. The things Percy does for Annabeth, their matching streaks of gray hair, but also just the quieter moments, the way they just, casually miss each other if the other one isn't around, the way that they just, play off each other with their humor, and, when they talk to each other, the way they figure things out together, they're really just so sweet, and they love each other so much, and the way they just, are, despite everything that they're going on around them, that they're fighting, that they just love each other, is really great. Yeah, obviously, like mentioned with Molly and Arthur, this is book Percy and Annabeth, but this even more distinctly, because Molly and Arthur, like I said, the movie is not that different. With Percy and Annabeth, we are very much talking book Percy and Annabeth. There will probably be a video at some point about how I feel about the Percy Jackson movies, but we are talking about the books here, their relationship in the books. And especially because I was going to mention what they were is how long it took to develop. They didn't just fall for each other in the first book when they were 12. That'd be weird. But they had a little crush on each other, and it built over time, and they get together in the last book, and it's just, yeah, I love them. Alright, third couple that I don't like is a Star Wars couple, and while there's a few that could meet this bill in Star Wars, I'm talking about Anakin and Padme. You know, the ones, Luke and Leia's parents, in the prequels. Because yikes. Just yikes in all caps for this relationship. First of all, they have no chemistry. None at all. And second of all, the dialogue in their scenes together was, physically painful to watch. Yes, I'm talking about I don't like sand, but not just that. So much more. Every scene they're in together, I'm just why is this even happening? Their dialogue is so bad, they have no chemistry. But that's not even the main thing, honestly. The main thing is that their relationship is just so fundamentally creepy on so many levels. When they meet, Anakin is 9, and Padme is 14, which is a hell of an age gap when one of them is 9 years old. That's just not okay. It did not need to happen. It should not have happened. I don't know who okayed this or why they did it, because it wasn't like these ages were established in the original trilogy. They could have made them any ages they want, but they made them 9 and 14, and it was weird, especially because Natalie Portman was 18, but still, it's just, the point is, it's weird. And then, when they leave the planet, Anakin's, sad about leaving his mom, so he kind of, attaches to Padme as a maternal-type figure, at least that's how I saw it, when she's, putting the blanket over him. So it's really weird that in the next one, they say he spent the past 10 years, obsessing over her romantically. That's weird, because that's not at all how I viewed their relationship in the first one. It's just real weird, all of it. And then, of course, she shows back up, and he's like, I've been obsessing over you for 10 years. He doesn't actually say it like that, but, you know, the dialogue's cringy enough. And he basically pressures her into being in a relationship with him that she never wanted, and is like, I don't want to be in a relationship. And it doesn't matter if she's saying it because she doesn't have feelings for him or because she thinks it's inappropriate given their positions. Either way, she's saying she doesn't want a relationship, and he needs to respect that, and he isn't, and it's super weird. And he just, like, pressures her into having that relationship, and she just, like, gives in. That's super unhealthy, and it's just super toxic and super weird, and I hate all of it. And we're gonna move on, because otherwise I could talk about how much I dislike this relationship all day. Okay, the third couple that I like is another Doctor Who couple, and it's Amy and Rory, and I love them so very much. As I mentioned, I don't like the whole thing with Amy, like, having a little thing for the Doctor, and I wish they hadn't included that, and apparently so does Stephen Moffat, so not just me, you know, the guy who wrote it too. But, yeah, that aside, just Amy and Rory, they love each other so much, and they wait for each other, and they make sacrifices for each other, and they have, like, such great chemistry. The actors really do a great job with it. And the way she says, like, Rory is the most beautiful man I've ever met, and the way they just, like, love each other and support each other, and, like, always, like, come back to each other and find each other with everything crazy that's going on. And, like, the way they build a life for each other and constantly are choosing each other. It's just really sweet. And, you know, Amy's line, changing the future, it's called marriage. Just everything about it. I love them as a couple. Okay, on to the fourth couple that I don't like. It is Ted and Robin from How I Met Your Mother. I don't know why I included this one, honestly. The show never, like, had that big of an impact on me, but it's just a bad couple, and when I think of a bad couple, I think of that, because they ended up together, and that was a weird choice, and I didn't like that they ended up together at all, because they had an entire episode devoted to why those two were a bad couple. Literally, the show did that episode, talking about why they should be a bad couple, so I don't even have, like, that much to say on this, because honestly, there's an entire episode of the show devoted to it that you could just watch, and explain why they're a bad couple. Like, they did this in the show, and then still put them together, and it was weird. So, yeah, that was weird. Alright, the fourth couple that I like is Sarah and Ava from Legends of Tomorrow. I don't know how widely known this show is. I honestly, like, haven't really seen it talked about much on the internet, but I really, really love these two as a couple. Sarah is the lead character, Ava's her girlfriend, and they're just great. They go through, like, a lot of stuff on the show, like, finding out, like, admitting their feelings for each other, because they're both kind of closed off characters, but they, like, come to love each other, they come to choose each other, like, they make sacrifices for each other, they're, like, leading this team together. It's just really great. I love their dynamic and their relationship a lot. Yeah, the fifth couple that I don't like is another sitcom couple, and it is Ross and Rachel from Friends. And honestly, I don't know why anyone ever rooted for this couple. I've got to be honest here. They're a very toxic couple. I mean, Ross is super possessive and just a kind of a creep. And Rachel is kind of a, like, narcissistic, like, selfish kind of person. Like, neither of them are great people, for starters. Neither of them are great partners. They don't support each other at all. They're always fighting. They're, like, kind of obsessed with this drama going on between them. Like, they don't really have anything in common. It doesn't really explain what they see in each other. They don't have any chemistry. They're just so, like, always fighting. Like, always butting heads. There's nothing really there other than this fighting. Like, I don't understand what is supposed to be good about this relationship. It's so toxic. It's so unhealthy. And they've both given up, like, things you could say are a lot more important for the sake of this relationship. Especially, like, Rachel giving up that job, Ross, like, leaving a better person, like, a better relationship, or at least it seemed for Rachel. It's just all really weird, and their whole thing is a toxic mess. They're both bad people in a bad relationship, and the whole thing, just no. On a happier note, the fifth couple that I do like is Snow White and Prince Charming from Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time was, like, a really big part of my childhood, teenage years. I was 11 when it first premiered. Like, I became pretty quickly obsessed with the show, and while I didn't like where it went later seasons, Snow White and Prince Charming always just had this great chemistry, and I really liked it. I mean, obviously, the actors had chemistry. Like, they met on set and fell in love and got married in real life, and that's really sweet. I love that story. But, like, even despite the fact that the show didn't really know what to do with them by later seasons, they always just had this great chemistry, and always, like, never really had any major problems. Like, their fights never lasted more than, like, an episode or two. Like, they always had this very strong, stable, healthy relationship, which couldn't be said for some other relationships in the show, and we're gonna get to that, because the sixth couple that I don't like is Captain Hook and Emma Swan, again, from Once Upon a Time. This is gonna be a controversial opinion, I know, because a lot of fans in the show loved Hook and Emma, and they were like their favorite relationship. I never understood it. Hook was creepy. He was so creepy. He hit Belle while she was chained to a wall. He shot Belle. Belle was my favorite character, so, you know, when Hook harmed her, I got mad. But also, he's just literally harming this innocent, defenseless woman just to get at the man that she loves. Like, yeah, he had beef with Rumpelstiltskin, but he did not and should not have taken that out on his innocent girlfriend. Like, that is messed up, and that's not what you do. He also was just super creepy, flirted with, like, every female character, and then the show wants us to believe it's different with Emma, without ever really giving us a reason. Like, yeah, I guess he found her attractive, but they never really gave us a reason why they'd be a good couple. And he did so many bad things, and I just had him turn on a dime and said, he's good now. But they didn't really give us much reason. Like, he had that thing at the end of season 2 where he was starting to become good again for Bellfire, and that, I thought, worked, because it was a relationship that was established with this kid who he felt like he failed. But then they tried to pretend it had been for Emma when it hadn't been, and then they kind of canceled, like, they stopped having the redemption arc really work, and just instead decided he's good now, without giving us enough reason, and both of the times Emma kisses him in season 3 were because he did her a favor. And it's like, so she just decided she owed him romantic feelings because he did her a favor? What a weird message to send. Also, they killed off Neil, who was, like, the heart of the show in a lot of ways, just so that there wouldn't be that romantic tension with Emma and she could get up with Hook. Like, it was just, I don't like if that's why they killed him or they did that just for that relationship to work. And putting the lead character with someone who's so problematic, especially when this lead character has been established to have, like, trust and abandonment issues and is, like, a bit emotionally fragile, and then you put her with a guy who's just kind of a predator, it's just not good, and I didn't like it. And it just, yeah, I was not a fan. But, anyway, the last couple that I do like, it's really, like, kind of a weird one, but it's Anne and Gilbert from the show Anne with an E, which I know they're based on the books. I think I read the first book a long time ago. I haven't read the whole series, though. This is purely based on the show version, but I just thought it was really cute and sweet, and, like, a lot of, like, romances with teens, especially on TV, are just really awkward and weird and bad, but I really liked what they did with this one, and the two of them were just really cute together. I just wanted to end on that positive note. So, yeah, thank you for watching the video. Feel free, again, to comment your disagreement. Also, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel and everything, and, yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!